Network marketing was the grinding wheel, and I was the lumpy piece of metal. And I had learned how to lean into this network marketing profession and let it start working on me day by day, idea by idea, point by point. And it did. I'll never forget the day that I decided to become a network marketing professional, really, because I thought I did. You know what I mean? I was working hard. I was working harder than anybody I knew my first 3.5 years. I wasn't working smart, but I was working hard. And I went to an event kind of in a dark place because I was really upset and I was comparing myself with others, and I was very discouraged, and I was at the brink of tears practically the whole time. And I'll never forget sitting in the audience like you're sitting in this audience right now, and it was like I got hit by lightning. Literally, it was like an audible sound. And I went, hold it. What if, I was watching the people walk across stage, what if instead of focusing on the fancy system or the incredible person that's going to change everything for me, or my upline that should be doing more for me, or the company needs to change their product offering, or the compensation plan needs to be adjusted, or they need to open up this new market, what if I just let go of all of that? And I just focused on becoming a professional here, becoming an expert here, not just in theory, but in practice. What do the best people in the world do in order to be the best? And I got to tell you this, in my first 3.5 years, my dominating emotion, 24 hours a day, it felt like, was fear. Fear that I wasn't enough. Fear that I was with the wrong team, fear that I lived in the wrong place, fear that nobody would listen to me because I was too young, I didn't have an educational background, fear that I wasn't a leader. I was just scared all the time. And once I made the decision, I said, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to become an expert. In that instant, the fear left my body. And I just said, I got a plan. I know what I'm going to do. So I started immediately talking to the most successful people inside of my company and starting to build a playbook, idea by idea, like you're going to do this weekend, strategy by strategy, skill by skill. What do they do? What are the skills? And that's where I found these 7 skills, right? Finding prospects. What do they do? Inviting, presenting, following up, closing, getting people started, promoting events. Those are the 7 fundamental skills that all those people did. What did they do? How did they do it? Because you know what else I found out? A lot of people did things slightly different than they trained. They trained stuff because it was trained to them and they were repeating what other people were doing. But when I really asked them, they did it a little bit different. They trained this little thing. So I started to be a student of what really works, not just what sounds good. Not just the stuff that rhymes. You know what I mean? If it is to be, it's up to me. All that stuff, you know what I mean? We got a lot of rhymey stuff in our business. But what really works? So I started to break all that stuff down. And the biggest thing in the world, and the biggest thing that you need to do if you want to have this next year be the best year of your life, the biggest thing that happened for me is I made a decision, a real decision that was not impacted by my upline or my compensation plan or my product or my company. It wasn't impacted by my downline. It wasn't impacted by my education or my context, my experience, my leadership ability. None of that. I just said, I will. And it wasn't a matter of how fast, it was just that I was going to. I'm going to be at the top of my company. In that day, I decided that there was only 2 positions in my company or any company. The starting position and the absolute top there is. That's all there was. And in my mind, everything else was just stepping stones in order to be able to get there. But I decided in that moment, what's the top? And I'm going to get there. And you know the other thing that excited me? I realized no one could stop me.